Today we're going to talk about if your avoidant ex will reach out to you after a breakup. Now, this is actually one of the most common questions that I get asked in my coaching practice, and the truth is we found that most exes who are avoidant will usually not reach out to an ex on their own accord because it usually triggers two things within them: a feeling of trauma and a feeling of vulnerability that they aren't comfortable dealing with. Of course, like all things, there's a bit more nuance to it. So we're going to dive in and talk about the following things. So by the end of the video, this is what you're going to have learned. You're going to learn why your avoidant ex probably won't be reaching out to you. You're going to learn why an avoidant ex usually doesn't want to be friends after a breakup, why the avoidant prefers loneliness over everything else, and if you do want to reach out to them, you need to understand the nostalgia window. So let's begin. Why your avoidant ex probably won't reach out to you. Well, first things first, let's make sure that we're operating under the same framework here with regards to describing an avoidant. Our official definition of an avoidant within the confines of ex-boyfriend recovery and ex-girlfriend recovery is an individual who values independence and autonomy over all else. So the result is usually they push people away or leave relationships when that individual threatens that independence. So when you're dating someone and that person is doing something that makes you feel like your independence is being threatened, that is textbook dismissive avoidant. Now, we're pretty confident when we say that most avoidants won't be reaching out to you very easily. So we actually first formed this hypothesis within the polls done within our private Facebook support group, specifically polls done around the no contact rule. So about a couple of years ago, I ran this poll in our private Facebook support group where I basically asked people, hey, for those of you who have completed a no contact rule, how many of your exes have reached out during it? And my natural assumption was because the no contact rule is sort of this foundational strategy where you're cutting off all conceivable communication with an ex after a breakup, and you're doing this anywhere between 21 and 45 days, the thinking obviously would be that most people that implement a no contact rule, it's going to really make their ex want to get them back or get back in contact with them more. So some of the bad raps that, for example, the no contact rule gets is most people who do not like the no contact rule view it as this manipulation strategy as a way to get your ex to contact you. Well, believe it or not, our research showed something completely different. According to the poll, 62% of exes who had the no contact rule implemented on them did not reach out. Why? Well, let's turn to more polls to hopefully explain this phenomenon. So in 2021, I conducted a poll where I asked participants which attachment style they thought their exes were and yielded the following results. Essentially, 70% of the participants admitted that they believe their ex is avoidant. So the stars are beginning to align here. Exes who are having the no contact rule done on them are predominantly avoidant, which means they aren't going to be reaching out to you on their own accord. This is actually one of the primary reasons that my team and I are actually so adamant about reaching out first post no contact, because we don't really expect many exes will reach out themselves. But here's another interesting factoid you might not know. An avoidant ex doesn't usually want to be friends. So to further add more nuance to the mindset of an avoidant, I'd like to actually really explore why avoidants usually don't want to be friends after a breakup. Yet, strangely, they can find themselves striking up an arm's length relationship with you after the breakup if you reach out and retain a connection with them. Weird, right? But psychologically, it makes sense if you understand what's going on underneath. And I'm going to let one of the best avoidant resources in the world take the over for this one. My favorite avoidant resource is a website called Free to Attach, and this is a quote taken directly from them that talks about this phenomenon. It's rare that an avoidant would want to be friends after a breakup, but occasional contact with exes with whom they have a good dynamic, usually this would mean interaction that is light and non-emotionally open, can retain a comforting relationship bond for them, a feeling of genuine connection and support, and much needed boost for the low ego without too much investment or the engulfment of overdependence in the present. So a couple of things I'd like to accentuate here. Number one is good dynamic equals light and non-emotional contacts or topics. So most of our clients don't have this type of dynamic with their exes because most of our clients, by their own admission, classify themselves as anxious. That usually means they can't help themselves but to bring the relationship up and become extremely emotional about it, which in the end just brings the ex right back into the trauma. And for the avoidant, the perfect relationship is one where they can retain their independence, but still have some ego boost from the relationship, some confidence built from the relationship.